Hey everybody, it's Podpocalypse. It has been a while. The reason I've been absent is because I broke my scaphoid, and I'm about to take you to the scene of the crime. This is where it happened. This is it. There's the rock right there. I think that's it right there. Piece of crap. The rock was embedded in the ground somewhere around here. It's all been compacted down now over the last couple months. But I would come up here and just hit it and do a little, use it as like a kicker for a wheelie and then just wheelie down this hill a little bit. And don't know what happened, but it basically turned into a springboard from my rear wheel. And I kid you not, I went 20 or 30 feet flying down the road, rolling on my side. And the only thing that broke was my scaphoid. I think my hip, but I never got an x-ray for it. I think I probably cracked it. And my phone. My fanny pack, my Leat 1.5 core, survived. It tore open the front, but I sewed it back together. That's what happens when you totally rev these things out on hit a rock and it turns into a pogo stick. So that sucked. I had only been on this bike for a month. All right, everyone. Continuation of the TX 300 series, 2024 model. She's lovely. Got some mods in here now that we're taking for a spin. Third ride. 9-ounce Steahly Flywheel Weight, and Mako 360. I was hesitant to get the Mako because the cartridge forks on the new bikes are so good that when you come off of the air forks, it's almost like you have a free built-in Mako 360. I know, that's probably sounds pretty stupid. I had one of these on my last bike, and so I'm just out here ripping around, seeing how it feels. It's weird. You don't immediately notice putting the Mako on, but you immediately notice taking the Mako off. It's a very weird feeling. I encourage you to bring your handlebar mount with you and try it one day over some rocks or something, and it will blow your mind just how much of an effect the Mako has. The only downside, I will say, having ran it now for maybe 150 hours on my previous bike and now this bike, you definitely get, like, there's this elastic feeling with the handlebars, and you don't have that much control on super hard hits sometimes because it'll flex and your weight will shift and it'll kind of push you down. It doesn't make you wreck or anything. You just got to get used to it. It's a really weird feeling. Kind of talking on my ass here, I guess. It feels like the handlebars are kind of floating sometimes. And it's because they kind of are, right? They're trying to stay in the equilibrium point and the bushing, and it just feels weird. Sometimes it feels like you're like, am I off balance or something? Totally normal. So if you get one of these and you feel that. Flywheel weight. The flywheel weight is totally wicked. One of the things I dislike about the TBIs with the really light motocross designed flywheel weight is they stall. They essentially flame out like a 4-stroke. It's kind of strange. There's so much power with these bikes that doing technical stuff like pivot turns, wheelies, and whatnot, it's just a lot to deal with. Flywheel weight. Tried it out. Steahly, I think, makes a 7, 9, and 11 ouncer. So the 7 is for motocross, but you just want a heavier flywheel weight. The 9 is if you're a more technical type of guy. And 11 is if you're a really technical guy and you're even more technical. There. That's the dumbest way I could say that. It is a lot easier to control the clutch with the flywheel weight. Some people online have said that they can ride a gear higher. I concur. The one thing I love about the flywheel weight so far, pivot turning is now so easy. I feel like I'm Rich Larson, baby. I'm coming for you, Rich. A little loose there, but we still did it. So the flywheel weight definitely changed the power band on these new TBIs. If you bought one of these bikes and you're kind of like, wow, I don't like the super explosive power delivery, get a flywheel weight. Try it out. It'll probably shock you just how much different it makes the bike. Coasting around here, I'm in third gear. It does not have that snappiness though that comes with the TBIs. But you can clutch it. How do I explain this without sounding like I'm completely clueless? I'll just tell you my experience and my feeling, and then maybe someone can comment on what is actually going on. I'll tell you what I think is going on. So with the heavier weight, it takes more energy to get it going, but once it's going, it's harder to stop, right? There's momentum with the mass. So what that translates to when I'm riding, it's a little harder to get the front wheel up now, but once it's up, you can keep it up. And once you're keeping it up, you're not risking burping yourself out of it with a high TBI blast of, instant throttle. So that's my experience so far. The downside with the preservation of momentum mixed with the heavier flywheel weight getting it going is I have noticed, it's happened to me twice now, and I think it's riding technique. You just got to get used to it. And my brother does this on his bike too, and now it makes a bit more sense. With the heavier flywheel weight, if your wheel catches on anything or stops moving or you tap the brake at the wrong time, the bike is more prone to stalling, I think. This is just my experience so far. It seems more prone to stalling in those super technical uphill situations where you don't really know what your rear wheel is doing. And so there's been a couple of things where I've been going up thinking that I'm on the regular version of this bike. We're talking about hills I've done 100 times, and I stalled on them. I'm like, what is going on? I figured it out on one of them. My rear wheel was hitting this rock and just locking up for like a split second. Stalled the bike. Super goofy. Honestly, most people are probably never going to even notice. If you do a lot of uphill riding where your rear wheel is hitting a lot of step-ups, you might want a slightly lighter flywheel. You probably want like a 7-ouncer so you can keep it going. I haven't even talked about the Mako. Man, it is an amazing product. Woo-hoo-hoo! All right, let's see how fast we can go with the flywheel weight in one of these zoomy zoom zoom sessions. Holy cow, it's dry. So, if you're really in tune with two-stroke sounds, it probably sounds like my bike's gurgling a bit. Staying lower in the power band, it's a bit harder to get going, but once you get it going, two things I'll say about it. It makes your bike sound cooler. This is all style and no substance, by the way. It feels like I'm on a 500 now. It's like, which I think is kind of cool. The second thing, so we're talking earlier about my broken scaphoid. The bike feels a lot safer, which is a big plus for me. It's weird. Some people have not noticed the power difference, and it's really not power. They are freaking fast, man. They are torque monsters, and it's a little scary sometimes when you'll like going through a soft section. You hit some hard stuff, catches your wheel, and you're like, whoa, and you're up all of a sudden riding. Yeah, love the Mako. Flywheel weight is really good. Oh yeah, it's so much easier to control. But yeah, so now I get to a trail and I'm like, oh man, I want to turn around. Now it's just style. Woo! I love it. Haven't quite nailed wheelies. We'll do that eventually. It slowed the bike down a little bit more than I would like, but at the same time, I'm kind of forcing myself to do that because I'm sick of trying to be a stylish badass and then crashing and breaking something. It's just stupid. So I would rather ride slow than not ride at all. Thumbs up to both of these pieces of equipment. Highly recommend it.